here, Tommy Hernandez picks up the first down, ball marked on the 48.
It's the sport of kings, better than diamond rings. That's why we're here to sing football. Sunday in the snow, referees whistle blows. Weekend warriors toe to toe, football.
The old timers, do you remember the names like Bronco Nagurski and Night Train Lane? Bulldog Turner, my man Sam Huff, in the snow and the mud, they were still real tough. Crazy Legs Hirsch, and remember Raymond Berry asked me if they hit hard, and I'll say very.
Alright, so today I'm here to talk about being a sports dad. And fathers who grew up playing sports, who have young sons, high school age sons, college age sons, pro sons, you understand what I'm going to be talking about. And it's mainly when your son grows up playing the sport that you played and that you're passionate about, and then in high school switches sports. Now my son started playing football. Shoot, he went to his first football practice before his first day of kindergarten. So from the age of 5 all the way up to 14, his sophomore year in high school, played football. Now that's really all we did. He tried baseball for a couple of years, really didn't care for it. So we just consistently played football. Played Pop Warner, played NFL catch and go, but he switched up. I'm getting ahead of myself. So he played football for a long time.
Paul, Christian, Buddy, Young Lady Moore is them idol. They seem to always score. Ed Sprinkle, defensive end for those years. Gene Big Daddy Lipton was the man to fear. You have Steve Van Buren and Otto Graham. Johnny Unitas had the arm of a Superman. We had Charlie Trippy and Gino Marquette. If you're searching for a champion, they're your best bet. Wish I could quarterback like Johnny Lou Jack or even Sid Luckman, as a matter of fact. Do you remember Red Brains, the galloping ghost? He could do a 95 running coast to coast. You had Norm Van Brocklin, a real great player, so swift with his moves that he could be mayor. Y.A. Tittle Alley.
He's a good football player. He's small. He's about 5'3", but he was tough. He was strong, and he had the drive. Running back, middle linebacker, and tough as nails. The kid hit like a ton of bricks. He ran the ball downhill. Real smart athlete. Just felt the game. Just understood where everything was going. And I coached him. I was his head coach from when he played flag in Pop Warner all the way to the end of it when he played junior midget going into high school. It was fun. We had a good time. Hard on him, just like any dad that played sports would be on his son that's playing sports. I wanted to see him excel and go further than I did and accomplish things that I never accomplished, and he did. Then his freshman year, when he went to school, he wanted to try another sport. He wanted to try wrestling. Head wrestling coach was a JV football coach also, and he told him, you know, I really think you'd be good for wrestling, you're built for it, come out. And he did. His freshman year of wrestling, you know, he did okay. I mean, he really didn't know how to wrestle. He wrestled 106. It was tough on him, it really was. It wasn't something he was used to, and he's not used to doing something out of his comfort zone. But he fought through it, and he learned to love it at the end of the year. He qualified for the state tournament, and he only won one match, didn't medal, but it was an experience for him. During his sophomore year of football, he kind of started falling out of love of football, especially going towards the longer season. They did win state that year, but it was a lot of work, and he just noticed that he wasn't growing at the rate the other boys were growing, and he still was 5'3", and he could still wrestle 106 pounds. So his sophomore year, he got a lot better. He won a lot more. There's a photo of him with the seniors. The other three boys are seniors, and Tommy was a sophomore. But these four were the only ones that consistently medaled every tournament that they went to. So he started falling in love with wrestling a lot more. We would have the discussion of him no longer playing football and focusing on wrestling, and I didn't want that because I didn't want him to look back on life and miss not playing football throughout his high school career. I dealt with injuries in high school. Some of my seasons I didn't get to finish. You think about it, as an athlete, as someone who's competitive and likes to compete, you still think about it even at my age. And I didn't want him to go through that. So we went through the season and kind of just, oh, I'm going to play football. He would tell me, don't worry, I'm going to play football. Then got to state, and he was doing really good in state. He got to, I believe it was the quarterfinal, and he was wrestling the #1 seed. And it was a tough match. And they were going back and forth, and in the last maybe 13 seconds, he got thrown. You can see he landed on the crown of his head. And here in this photo, the kid that won, his name's Hayden Euler, and Tommy's flat on his back, passed out. He got a concussion. And when he went to his back, I was screaming at him because he never gets pinned, hardly ever gets pinned. He fights, and his body went limp. He's done. Went to the hospital. He was diagnosed with a concussion. He couldn't finish the tournament, and it hurt. The next day I woke up and it was painful for me. As a competitor, you never want to be have anything taken away from you. You want to lose in battle. You want to lose on the field. You want to lose on the mat. You don't want to be injured and say, I can't finish. I can't compete anymore. So I know how much it hurt him, and it hurt me just as bad. Of course, we went to the second day to watch the rest of the team. We had a good meet. Clay, a senior, won state. Had boys medal, take third, take fourth and fifth. But Tommy couldn't compete that day, and I know he would have finished third. He would have taken third place, and he would have medaled at state. And he wasn't able to battle. He wasn't able to show what he could do. And at the end of the tournament, everybody's happy, taking pictures, and he disappears. So I have to go find him. And he's crying. And it's hard. It's hard to see your son go through that when you've been there every step of the way. So I hugged him tight. And at that moment, I knew what was right. And I told him not to worry about playing football anymore. That we would dedicate ourselves to wrestling. And we would come back next year and finish the tournament and win state. So we did. After state, he had to sit out. About 2 weeks later, he was back on the mat, wrestling in, it's called the Terminator, back at the place where state was held. And he finished 5th. And it was a good tournament. He wrestled against tough wrestlers. And then we went to Denver. And he did good in Denver Nationals. He didn't place there, but he finished in the top 8, 32 wrestlers. And he also met Tito Ortiz there. Here's a picture of him and Tito. He did really good. We did a lot of work. We went to Las Vegas, a lot of tournaments, a lot of practicing. And he started winning a lot more. just tell the difference, between his first year of wrestling and his second year, where he started doing better, and then his junior year, where he won state. He went 62-2. So the work and dedication that we put into it, he became a state champion, and now he is a wrestler now. When he first started, he was a football player wrestling. Now he's a wrestler. And for me, it was hard. It was hard his junior year going to the football games, because we still went to all the football games. We support all the teams, all the athletics, and just sitting there knowing he's not out on the field, knowing how good of a football player and athlete he is, and he's not out there. And it was tough on me. But I just kept on thinking, just wait till wrestling, just wait till wrestling season. Let him do his thing, let him shine. And he sure did. I mean, he was just amazing what he was able to accomplish in that short amount of time. And it's a very technical sport. A sport that you can't just walk into and become great and become a state champion. It's very difficult. I never wrestled, but I've always respected wrestlers, because I know what they put themselves through, cutting weight. You're sitting there eating dinner, and he's eating a salad. I'm having to grill him chicken. He's mad all the time because he's hungry. We get into arguments because he's just frustrated from being hungry. That he snaps and then I snap. But it's just what you go through as a dad raising an athlete, and my wife too. She has to go through it and deal with both of our attitudes. But it's what families do when you're raising an athlete. But what this is about being a dad and understanding that it's your son's journey, not your journey. And we have a hard time distinguishing between the two, because we vicariously live through our children. And be it whatever you do, it doesn't have to be sports. If you're an engineer, if you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a photographer, whatever it is you do, you always in the back of your mind want your child to follow in your footsteps. I wanted Tommy to become the football player I could never become, and he did. He surpassed me. Now he's in his own element, and he's doing it for him, for his passion, not for mine. He's not out there to please me and make me happy. He's out there to make himself happy. And as a dad, that's what you need for your children. As long as they're doing the right thing, they're going down the right path, as long as they're happy doing what they're doing, we have to support them all the way.
Let's go!